Right, okay then. So, it's my first video log. I haven't done anything like this before, but I just wanted to document my travels because it was the first time I'm going to be, my first travel away. Part of my plans of what I want to do. So, apologies if it is a little long-winded and a bit rocky. But yeah, just wanted to. My first travel has been to San Francisco, America. I'm just staying out of San Francisco in a city called Oakland. I've chosen this area for 5 days because it was really close to the redwood forests and it wasn't as expensive as staying in San Francisco. So this first log is going to be. This is my first day. I arrived yesterday, but heavily jet lagged. Went into the actual city for a bit, got a phone SIM card, got some food, did some other things as well, which I'll go into next. But yeah, it was exciting. But today's my first proper day. Had a really good night's sleep yesterday, so I'll just go through what I've done and my process so far. Okay, so this is a big one for me. Going to America. I've been to America before, but when I was very young and I didn't even remember it. In fact, I lived there for a year, supposedly. I say supposedly, and that was when my sister was born. My sister was born, and then we moved back to the UK. So I don't really remember that as I was about 3 years old. Now, the reason why it's so important to me is because I don't know why America has just been a big part. You see it every day, in your society, in your culture. You see America. You've grown up around it. TV is so heavily influenced. The media is so heavily influenced by America, and I just had to see what it's about. Like I said, you see so much of it, and it's like I want to see what it's about, what it's like. Because majority of movies you watch are American TV shows. So, on first kind of impressions, what it was like. I got out of the airport. In the airport, it was like I was kind of like, well, it's no different at the moment, which is normal. But it was just coming out. It was like I was walking out into a movie set. It really was. I was like, wow, this is it. This is it. Everything's just such a big change. You speak the same language. Like I said, the Americans speak the same language, but it's like everything is so damn different. Even the people are different. People could come across as being rude at first, is what my first impressions were like. However, that's just us being Britons thinking that everything's rude. You got to say sorry and thank you after everything, and even when you're telling someone you're insulting them, you're still kind of being polite about it. But yeah, I think people just say what they think, which is what people do more in different countries. Actually, I've noticed they do that in Spain, France. They're all very kind of upfront. They tell people how it is, which is good. It is good. But yeah, that's something I have to become attuned with. But people generally seem friendlier. Not as friendly as I thought they would be. Again, that's something that's portrayed to us on television, and for some reason we all think that all Americans are super friendly, super kind, and they'll come up to you and everything like that. They're quite nice, but from what I've experienced so far. But yeah, I think I need to interact more, and get myself out there a bit more to experience that. So got out of the airport, took the BART system. The BART system is like it's like the underground, but it goes overground as well. But it's an electric kind of monotrain thing. Kind of a bit of an archaic system when it comes compared to our underground in England. I say archaic. Everything is just kind of aged. It's all like paper tickets, and I think you can get cards as well. But it was just really confusing how you top them up. I won't go too much into that. But yeah, that was when someone was being really unhelpful, and someone kind of budged in line with me and said, I was here first. And I got in a little argument with him, but I was like, okay, I'm backing away. I don't want my first interaction to be an argument. But yeah, I got on the bar, and I met my first kind of, I don't know what they call people from San Francisco, but yeah, he was like something out of a movie that was crazy. That guy who's older, probably on drugs, wears like shorts, high socks, has a skateboard, and he was about 50. And you could tell that something wasn't quite right with him. But he approached me and he offered me a cardboard box, like a cereal box. And he said something like, "Oh, do you want your organics?" or something like that. And I was like, "No, I'm all right, mate." In the most British accent ever, of course. But yeah, he ended up getting on the same train as me, and he just kept talking to me how he was like, "So, do you have any ghettos in England?" And I was like, "Well, not so much ghettos, but yeah, there's rough areas. There is, and everywhere you go." He's like, "Oh, I love those places. I want to go there. I want to go to those places." And I was a bit like, "Why would you want to travel 5,000 miles just to go to like a ghetto or like a rough area?" But anyway, kind of still kind of in shock and coming into America and enticed by its kind of charm. So I was like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, he got off the train, and some other guy came up to me and got off the train with me and said, like, "Yeah, you should ignore him. He's kind of like a drug dealer, kind of weirdo guy." I was like, okay. But yeah, he guided me onto the right train of where I needed to go, which was really nice. And then I went to the city centre in Barcadero, which is like the centre. I think it's the financial district. I didn't know this at the time, but I went out and I was like, okay, I need a phone SIM card. So I went and got a phone SIM card, and I was like, okay, I'm struggling to find somewhere. I went to what seemed like a bar, pub kind of place. I was like, okay, this is cool. Maybe I'll meet someone, like get some advice. And I got ID'd straight away, which is fine. I don't think I look under 21, but whatever. And yeah, I asked for a pint of the finest, and he was like, that would be $9. I was like, what? I was like, first of all, I was like, did I hear you? I was at $9, and he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything. Paid him the money and thought nothing of it, and was like, okay, this must be an expensive area. I'm in the city centre, and I found out, obviously, it was the financial district, and that was the guy in the phone shop that told me. And I was like, okay, well, I won't drink there again. But just in general, I found it's quite expensive here, and I don't know if that's because I'm just in San Francisco. But even now that I'm out in Oakland, it's still quite expensive. Even day-to-day things, like I just went to like a local shop, and like a bar of soap was like $2.50, and like a bottle of body wash was like $4.50, and I was like, what? you pick that stuff up for £1 in England. But yeah, anyway, it's just an adjustment I've got to make. Maybe there are cheaper areas, but more importantly, the city centre is amazing. It's so clean and sharp and modern and new, and it's just, like I said, it was like I was in a movie the whole time I was there. I was like, wow, with the tram and all the signs as well, the cars. One thing to say about the car is I would say about 40% of cars I've seen have been pickup trucks or 4x4s, and like that's something people say about America, and it's pretty true. They definitely live up to that, and I'm guessing it's because diesel's cheaper and the bigger engines last longer. Now, everyone drives here. I've just been walking around, and you can tell it's not built for like public transport. And again, this is just massive generalization. Wow, that sounded like a freaking eagle. But yeah, massive generalization, but it might just be because I'm outside of San Francisco. But yeah, I was finding it hard to find a bus stop. Like even public footpaths aren't great. There's no kind of like train stations nearby. But yeah, again, might just because I'm where I am. What else? Yeah, about the cars. I think I'm going to hire a car. I think I'm going to do that today. I think that's going to open up and allow me to explore a lot more, as everything is so wide and spread out. Even just going to like the local store was quite a walk. It was about a mile and a half away, which is quite a lot. Again, stuff that I'm not used to in England. Everything's so close by. You know, if you need something, you can pretty much walk there or get a bus very quickly. But yeah, it's it's been pretty interesting. What's up next is I'm gonna go visit some forests nearby. There's loads of redwoods and sequoia tree forests, so I'm gonna go see them. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm gonna get a car. I've got to get a pair of hiking boots, wear them in, as I'm going to Yosemite Park for 3 days to do some hiking up there on a trail. And then after that, I'm going into the city centre to stay in a hostel for 3 days, which I think I'm going to get a different experience of everything there. I think there's going to be more people around my age, and it's going to be a bit more exciting, bustling. Here it's a bit more relaxed and laid back, and I'm staying at an Airbnb. The Airbnb I'm staying at, I've never done Airbnb before, and it's quite an experience. I didn't know how it worked. I thought someone would leave you a keys and location or a code or something like that, and then basically that house or that area is yours for the period of stay with no one else staying there. I've actually got the woman who owns this place staying with me at the moment, and she's been very brief on the instructions. I still haven't seen her, but she gave me the code to her garage last night to go in, and then she didn't say what room I was in, and none of the beds weren't made or anything like that. And I was a bit confused, and I was like, what's going on? What didn't help with that was one of the first things I did yesterday was go to a dispensary. As you know, marijuana is legal in the state of California. So when in Rome, of course, I had to go try it out. And I went to this place, walked about a mile in the city centre to this dispensary. And it was pretty amazing. It was awesome. It was really cool. You could go in there, obviously there's security at the front door. You go in, you register yourself, you sign some waivers, show your ID. It's all very kind of well done. It's not dingy or seedy or anything like that. But then you go on these iPads. They have all these different lists of different weeds and edibles and CBD and oils and kind of medicinal marijuana. And I was like, this is cool. This is cool. This is next level. This is the future right here. And then you go to a device behind a desk and you talk to them, and then you can get some advice because there's different types of marijuana, what it does, the effects. You know, they teach you about THC, CBD. There were some other ones as well that I can't remember now, but you can only buy like a certain size. It's quite expensive. So I bought a pot of like this hybrid combination. And then there's this smoking lounge you can go into, and that's next level. That's really cool. I've never been to Amsterdam, which was supposed to be the equivalent, but here it was like you go into the smoking lounge. Again, you sign another waiver and you show them your ID, and then you go up to this guy. He's at this bar, and he's kind of like this big burly guy, cool as fuck. And you go to him, and he's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "Okay, I'll have a rolling tray." I give you a rolling tray. He's like, "Do you want a bong?" I'm like, "Nah." He goes, "What about a pipe?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll have a pipe." And I go, "Do you have any tobacco?" And they're like, no smoke, no tobacco allowed. If you can use tobacco, you get kicked out. I was like, oh, "Okay, cool." So I went in and got my little pipe out, and there wasn't like loads of weirdos there or like kind of stereotypical stoners. It was kind of like just normal people there. You know, there was some older generation there, younger generation. People just go there to smoke. It was cool. I was like, this is like really civilized, you know. And so I had some pipe, and I made a puri spliff as well. And yeah, I was like feeling it a little bit in there. And then I got out. I spent about 10-15 minutes in there because it's like, okay, I don't want to get too high. So I left. And oh my God, did it hit me? Did it hit me? I've generally never been that high before in my life. And it was kind of overwhelming. But I think it was a case of that. I was kind of jet lagged as well. I kind of emphasized like the tiredness in my eyes. But yeah, I was heavily stoned. Heavily stoned, but it was really interesting. Like that feeling of being in a movie was kind of like emphasized, and it was kind of like I was in this out of body experience, and I was just walking around. Fuck knows how I managed to get myself to this Airbnb last night. I was so high, and obviously because I was 9 hours ahead, 9 hours behind, coming from England. I hadn't slept for 24 hours as such, so I managed to I took a taxi when I got off the BART system, and then yeah, the taxi driver, I must have been in an absolute state because I just wasn't saying anything, and my words just meant nothing. I felt so bad for him. I'd like to meet him again and say, look, I'm sorry, I didn't speak last night. But yeah, I managed to make it to the Airbnb, and I just crashed out. Apparently the host was actually in last night as well, but it was weird. It felt like I was breaking in, you know, the house. Like it was like someone was living there, and I was like, oh my god, this is so weird. And everyone's house is like secured with security systems as well, so it's a bit like I was sneaking in. I was like, oh my god, what the hell. But yeah, I've got loads more to talk about, so I'm going to end it there, and then I'm going to do another log tomorrow, and probably maybe skip a day and then do another one after that, and then I'll be doing a few when I'm on my backpacking trials. But yeah, that will conclude this video session.